Hello, everybody. Welcome to Swish and Sip. We are going to get started in a brief moment. So I'm going to let Poppy tell her how to share this to her page. Yes, so just go to, like you're looking at the live, like you're on my, my Facebook, like you're watching the live, and then just hit share.
Okay, go to the live, share. Okay.
Hit share and share it to your page.
Okay.
So we're gonna give her a minute.
Okay, done. I think we're good.
Great. Okay. So if you're watching live, drop a 1. If you're watching the replay, drop a 2. Also, if you are watching live, we would love to know where you're coming in from, and feel free to ask us any questions. We will talk about products. We will talk about what we do. We will talk about life, and you can ask me anything. Doesn't have to be business related. If you want to know that I watch the Super Bowl, ask me that.
Anything.
I don't care, because I'm an open book. Anyway, but again, thanks for watching. Anybody who is, or if you're catching the replay, we appreciate you. So I am JJ Jennifer Jones, and tonight I am drinking Robert Mondavi, and I have been drinking this for a while. Yeah, I literally drink when we do these. So if you go back, you can see how often that is.
And I am drinking a Pinot Noir from California. I don't remember the brand, but I've been drinking it for probably 3-4 days now. I think that's the tops that you're allowed to drink. So cheers.
This tastes fun to me, but I'm definitely not a wine connoisseur. Cheers, Poppy. So I am in Scottsdale, Arizona, by the way. Poppy, where are you?
I am in a little poke town called Dripping Springs outside of West Austin, about 20 minutes.
I lived there for 10 years.
So you know definitely where that is. It's amazing. Did you like it when you were living here?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was perfect when I lived there, and then life kind of happened, and I got I moved there in 2004, bought my house. I was 30, I was single, had a son, and it was, I don't know, it's like I wanted to buy a house. So I'll tell you this story about the house, okay, and we'll get into it. But so I was, like I said, 30 and just turned 30, and I called or a couple months, and I called a realtor, and I said, I want to buy a house in Dripping Springs. Now, remind you, this is 2000.
Right.
And I said, I want to buy a house in Dripping Springs. I want a half an acre. I want it to be at least 1,600 square feet.
Nice.
And I want it for $125,000. And the guy goes, good luck, lady, when you're talking $1 million all back. Yes. And up on me.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
So, because there was, even then, it was like the average price at the time was like $92 a square foot. Okay.
Okay.
So, they had gone up, it was like the first kind of increase where people were wanting to come out there, because before that it was just ranch land. Like there was nothing out there. This was before, the only thing they had was a Super S store.
Yes.
I think that was it, right?
That was pretty much it. Yeah.
So anyway, so a guy I was dating was worked at a car dealership, and one of the guys that he worked with had just got his real estate license, so he was hungry, right? He was like, when I told him the same thing, and he wasn't scared. He wasn't scared of me. Like he was like, all right, let me see what I could do, He
wasn't scared of me.
Like 4 houses, and the 4th one he showed me was the house I ended up buying, and it was,
oh my gosh.
Check this out though. This is even the best part. So I'm looking at the house, and then so they wanted 156 for it, and my budget was I wanted 125.
Right. I didn't want to go up anymore.
They had already dropped it from I think 170 or something. And it was, within the market. But I don't know, I just had this feeling. When I pulled up to it, had you go up in this circular driveway, and it had this big rock in the front, and then when you walk in, the whole back was something about windows, and it had
nice
clean, flagstone fireplace with the mantle that was also flagstone. It was so perfect, right? It was this farmhouse. Had anyway, so it was I was just I have to have this house. And, so we were like, well, it was weird. Like the air conditioner didn't work. And this like one light switch didn't work. And there was a section of the roof that wasn't done. It was these odd things. Okay.
Yeah.
So I go ahead and pay for someone to come check the AC. And it hadn't been charged. It was like brand new, just put in, but wasn't ever charged.
Right.
Was that the roof was apparently the owner pissed off the roofers, and so they left mid-job. The little light, the whole wall that didn't have the lights, there was like a wire that had slipped out, and they just had to reconnect. Like it was simple stuff, right?
Right. But ignored.
Yeah, the inspector was like, "It's a great house. Like there's nothing wrong." Because I'm thinking, okay. So anyway, I ended up getting it down to like $62 a square foot. It was
Wow.
$336,000. And the thing was, so people didn't want to deal. The buyer was apparently a major issue. Well, when the seller on the buyer, she's the seller. She's apparently a major issue. I don't know. I see the name of the seller, and I realize when I had moved to Austin from Dallas 2 years before, I started to work in a gastrointestinal office.
Okay. She's a nurse, for those of y'all listening.
I'm a nurse.
She's a nurse. Yeah.
So
she doesn't just like gastrointestinal stuff.
Yeah, I did it for 6 months. And the reason I did it was because I worked ICU, and ICU, you get burnout. And I had done it for 3 years. I just needed a break. I just moved to Austin. One of my best friends worked in the office. It was just an easy job, get me in, kind of get settled, and then I'd figure things out. Because I didn't know what hospital system I want to work for, and it was just
right.
Get me just established. So anyway, she had just moved to Dallas. I had just moved to Austin. And I was trying to get her, I'm like, you need to get your medications in Dallas now because you don't live here.
Yes.
She goes, well, I'm trying to sell my house. Do you want to buy my house? And I said, no, because at the time I still want to go back to Dallas. I was only going to be in Austin temporarily. And
that's what we all say.
Yeah. I said, I don't know if I want to stay because anyway. So I was like, I want to go back to Dallas. And she's like, well, I want you to buy my house. And I was like, I'm not interested in your house. 2 years later, I buy her house.
Oh my God, how weird.
Is that not like synchronicity or what?
It was meant, it was meant to be, definitely.
Yeah. And I lived there like 9.5 years, absolutely loved it.
Wow.
My parents needed help, so I had to go to San Antonio to help them. And, it's just things that happened, but it was interesting because like, if I ever regretted something, that would be the only thing, because I don't believe in regrets. But if I was ever going to regret something, that would have been the only thing. Yeah. I lived there, but I was like, I didn't have help, and it was, so far out and too far from my parents. And so but then like, when I think about it, and I mean, you've been there pretty much that whole time, it just changed so much. Like it had changed so much right before I left.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A lot.
I love it as much as I did before.
And how often do you come? When was the last time you were here?
I kind of won't go back. It's weird. It's like my kids
won't
want to go see the house. I'm afraid I'm going to go and be like heartbroken.
Oh yeah. Cause I was gonna say, you can come and visit me, but then I'm not promising you're not gonna, you'd be surprised. You probably wouldn't recognize much of anything around here. Nothing seems familiar.
My neighborhood or my house, I mean, the owners, I did a big remodel right before I sold it. And then I've heard that they've done some amazing stuff with it. And so, I mean, I'm glad for the house. I'm glad for the property. It was one of those, I just don't want to go because I'm like, what if I'm like, ooh, I want to come back here and stay here. And then that would just be, that would be in my best interest.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was awesome.
Well, it just has different memories, and sometimes it's good to move on to different places and experience other things and other places. Needless to say, I mean, I feel like we're nomads because we move around pretty often, but but it's a good thing every time we move. At least we're in agreement every time we move. So the problem would be if he's like, absolutely not, and I'm like, yes, we are. And so that would be a problem, but we're usually like, I guess it's time to move.
Oh, I'm a nomad. Honestly, I'd move every 6 months if I could easily.
The what?
Because I was going to buy an RV because I like to move about every 6 months. Like I generally do like to change locations, but the actual process of packing up and
it's
not worth it.
No,
but I don't know. I like, let's try that. Let me go here. Let me go there. That's one thing I love about what I do now is I'm not going to, but I can at least go visit places, right? I don't have to move.
Right. And at least your kids are older. Your kids are older too. That helps.
Yeah, 'cause that's why I was there for
Yeah.
9.5 years, honestly. And I probably picked the worst time for my kids to move. They probably are gonna need some serious therapy. Well, because it was like halfway through sixth grade.
Yeah.
And he
Oh no.
started a new school, always had been to Dripping since pre-K.
Yeah.
Started a brand new school on his birthday in
Oh my
sixth grade.
gosh.
I'm like, I think I messed him up a little.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. Trust me, it's hard moving kids around and stuff like that too. Especially when I moved to Austin. I said I took that drive. I probably went because I was going back and forth. I was especially a teacher by trade for like 17 years, 16 years actually. And so then I was up here, and Rick was starting his decorative concrete business, and I was going back and forth so much. I probably took that trip about 150 times in like less than 2 years, just going back and going back. And back then I felt like I had more energy. Like now I feel like I don't. Like my mom's even worried about me traveling by myself. I'm like, I used to do it all the time, but yet that was like 10 years ago. So I'm like, I remember one time I like literally drove down on a Friday, picked my kids up, turned around, came back, then went stayed overnight, then went back the next day, drove back, and the next day come back again. I'm like, God, that's like almost 6 hours per trip. Like
Wow.
that's a long.
Like
I
8
was
hours out of the weekend of driving.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I was like driving more than I was staying anywhere. It was kind of ridiculous, but anyway.
Cool. Well, if you're watching live, drop a 1. If you're watching replay, man, I cannot talk today. Drop a 2. And tell us where you're coming in from. If you're watching, we would love to say hello. And feel free to ask us any questions. So we're going to be talking about health and wellness. We're going to be talking about some amazing products that we currently have that we love, and kind of a little bit about what we do. So I guess we could get started on that if you want to. Okay, awesome. So I'm not mean to put you on a spot here, so feel free to say no, because I'm
used to it.
But is there any other products you want to talk about specifically? Then I can talk about them, no worries.
Yeah, so I started out with a product called, I figured, and with my health goals and stuff, I was like, okay, what is something that I'm going to take that I would hopefully notice, And so I kind of talked about it a little bit last night, but last time. Anyway, I started talking about it last time, where I just was really, really ridden with anxiety. I don't know if it's over the age of 50, what happens. I don't know if it's hormones or what's going on. But anyway, I tend to get nervous when I go places like doctor's appointments and dentist appointments, probably because I've had a lot of dental work done this year. I'm kind of like over it already, especially this last time I spent like 6 hours in the chair. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done. So anyway, I get a lot of like nerves, like nervous tension, just tightening to where I almost have an anxiety attack. One time I did it over there. But anyway, I was used to taking I would take a muscle relaxer, to be totally honest with you. Like when I went, I would make sure somebody's driving, but I would take like a little pinch of muscle relaxer, whatever. And then I would feel better. But I was like, okay, I can only imagine what this is doing to my liver. I never used to take anything like that. So just most recently, the past year, I started to have to do that. And I'm like, it's going to affect my liver, my kidneys, something. Like I can't continually do that. So anyway, what most intrigued me, other than your dancing on your TikTok video that I saw you dancing on your TikTok video, and you're holding a little thing. I'm like, what the heck is she doing? But anyway, I
got your attention, didn't I?
You got my attention. That's right. I was like, what the heck is she spraying in her mouth? No. So anyway, so I was like, once I found out and talked to you, and then I was like, do y'all have anything for nervousness? And you were like, as a matter of fact. And so there's this spray called Serenity, and Serenity has a whole bunch of herbs and different things, and she can be more like specific with CBD, CBG that it has in it. But, I've taken different products in the past, all kinds of products, including products that have CBD as well. And I just didn't feel like hardly anything, which is weird because she knows as well as I know, I'm real sensitive to everything because I'm on a gluten-free, dairy-free diet. So if I'm taking something, I don't notice it. It's usually like, okay, what is it diluted with? Because I'm like, this is just not working for me. I can't feel anything. And then one time I took one actually, and I felt like I was totally drugged, which was totally, and scared the crap out of me. I'm like, I'm not doing this either. So I went like one end to the spectrum to the other. Anyway, long story short, so she sent some Serenity to me. I purchased some, and I sprayed it in my mouth when I was going to the dentist office dermatology office most recently. And I was like, you know what, worst case scenario, I have this other pill here just in case this one doesn't work, kind of thing. Well, by the time I got there and went through everything, I wasn't drugged. I wasn't like, it's almost like I had like this calming feeling. And people were like, well, maybe it's your mind. Well, you know what? Screw it. If it was my mind, fine. Whatever it was, it helped me. It made me feel better, which is the most important part. But anyway, I just sprayed a couple of times under my tongue, held it for about 60 seconds. And then I went on with my appointment and I was fine. In fact, I would have been nervous at that appointment, plus the mammogram appointment I had afterwards. And I was just like totally fine. It was the strangest thing. So that probably has to be one of my favorite products. I haven't tried all of them because obviously I don't need help with sleep. Some people do. I'm fine with my sleep. The Serenity is good during the day. I had tried the Relief because of my back pain. It works amazing. I just most recently used it like directly on the spot where I had my sciatica problem, and it helped, like amazingly helped. And usually I don't like to pop. I can't do ibuprofen because of my stomach, but even Tylenol, I don't want to take it. There's a horror stories going with Tylenol, as have been come up with on research with Tylenol recently anyway. So I'm like, I don't want to do that either. So then you started me on the Swish. And so Swish, and then any sprays that you take. So Swish is going to be a CBD CBG blend as well. I went on the dosing that she recommended for me, depending on your situation. And so then I started taking it little by little. And that's when I noticed, you know what? I don't have to spray the Relief as much because something else is happening. I didn't have to spray the Serenity as much because during the day, I just felt a little bit more calm, especially in those situations where you think you're going to feel really, really anxious and stuff. It didn't come up. And even if it did, I had to take less and less as more and more that I took. And so I've been on it for about 2 weeks now, really little amount. I put like a half a teaspoon and I drink it at night and then in the morning. And according to what, and Jade is a nurse, so it really helps to have her hand in hand there to kind of guide you through everything. But I think the best thing is I can take a little bit of a swish in the morning, no pun intended, and put it in my mouth and swish it around my mouth, and it absorbs 99% of the time because it's, well, she'll kind of explain all that nanotechnology stuff that I'm still learning. But anyway, so I take the Swish in the morning, and then during the sprays, if I need during the day, I'll use the Serenity or the Relief if on occasion I need it. And like some people are probably like, well, if you're taking the Swish, why do you need the other ones? Well, because you may wake up, like Jay just said, with a foot pain, or you might have worked out like with me with Pilates. I might have a little bit more tension in my muscles and stuff like that. So anyway, that's my story. And so far, after only 3 weeks, that's a pretty good story to have so far.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. So I want to say hi. I don't know if they're still watching, but I want to say hi to Diana and to Kenny and Carlos. Thanks for watching. Ask any questions if you have any. We're an open book. No worries. If you're not comfortable asking the question in the comments section, you can always DM us anytime. We'll be happy to get back with you. We have all kinds of testimonies we can show you, as well as ingredients or anything you want to know about it. Because you know that's what we're here for. Okay, so the Serenity. So since you brought up the Serenity, I'm going to kind of talk about the different stuff that you talked about in relation to. So the Serenity was the one that Poppy was talking about that she could take and not stress out at the dentist or mammograms or dermatology. You know, I think you have a little white coat syndrome. If no one's diagnosed you, I'll be happy to.
Okay, thank you.
You know, but that's cool. So exactly. So sometimes like before a live, I did not do it before this live, and I'm having trouble talking. Maybe that's why. If I'm really nervous about something, I'll just kind of. The other thing I do with the Serenity is I sometimes get hyper. So I don't know if
you
do ADHD, and no one told me, but I just it's not all the time, but every now and then I just get really hyper, like wired. And this kind of takes me down a couple notches because my son's like, whoa, what is, are you okay? Like, you know, blowing through the house, yelling at him, yelling on the phone. And I'm just excited for whatever reason. I think that's from this, actually. I just get real excited. And so sometimes I need to take it down a notch because, you know, I kind of freak people out. So this will do that. I'm still happy. I'm still excited, but it's more normal versus,
right.
So, and the other thing, I do take it at night before I go to bed because it just turns the thoughts kind of off. So again, if I'm like, oh, I got all this stuff in my head, this is going on, I need to do this, like I can't, like, to me, It's like, it works. If anyone's ever taken Ativan or lorazepam, it's similar in the effect that it just kind of shuts your brain down and you're like,
Right.
okay. But the difference is with this one, of course, it's all natural, plant-based. There's several ingredients that I cannot pronounce. But again, we can give them to you, but again, it's organic, non-GMO, all natural stuff. So you don't have that, you feel calm, but you don't have to worry about not breathing. You don't have to worry about passing out. And then you can drive, you can function, you can be at work even. And I know people who do take this several times a day at work because they're just stressed at work, and it will help to kind of just, again, it just takes everything down just a notch. Okay.
Just kind of like the edge off, I guess I would describe it.
Exactly. And so it's great when you're trying to go to sleep because it does the same thing. And sometimes that's what you need just to fall asleep faster. So yes. So these little sprays, again, they're super thin. You can just pop them in a pocket, purse, wherever, car.
Yeah.
I have them all over my house. You know, wouldn't keep them in your car like all the time in Texas heat when it starts to get hot there. But we're out here in Arizona. But normal temperatures you could. Yeah. Anyway, super convenient. And what you do is you just spray it under your tongue, hold it for 60 seconds, and then swallow. And so, and again, that's as needed. So you mentioned the sleep. So I wanted to mention, I don't know if I've had this conversation with you. So the sleep is the same thing. It's a spray. You take it, you know, before you go to bed. People say like how long before you go to bed? Well, everyone kind of, because it's absorbed in through the mucous membrane. So it can happen within 5 minutes. You might take you 20 minutes. Everybody's metabolism is a little different, but for me, you know, it probably works in about 15 minutes. But the thing about it is I don't take it to go to sleep, because I really don't have problems going to sleep. Like I'll take Serenity and take this just because in case I do, or but I'm just one of those people, I can sleep. It's not a problem. Yeah. Sometimes going to sleep more so, but never staying asleep. I could probably sleep 12 hours if I wanted to. But I do take this, even though I don't have trouble sleeping, because I believe and I feel like it increases the quality of my sleep.
Exactly. So I noticed
when I get up, I feel like ready to take on the world. And I have never been that kind of person. I have always been snooze, like an hour, snooze.
That sounds like everybody.
But I don't anymore. Like I'll snooze and get back in bed because I'm like, it's habit, right? So I get up and, you know, I move my phone.
You're like, I didn't count 5 times yet.
It's actually in the bathroom now. So I have to get up to go do it because I'll turn it off and sleep.
As it sprays you with water.
I used to have a boyfriend who would do that. He put marbles in the freezer. Remember, I was like 20. He put marbles in the freezer, and then like I'm asleep, and he pour them in the bed, and so wherever you roll, they roll.
Oh my God, that is awful.
I would not get out of bed. Like it was bad. He's like, you're gonna get fired. You have to go to work. So it's funny because I don't have to get up now. Technically speaking, the only person who could fire me is me. But I just feel better. I like to sleep late, but I actually don't feel good when I sleep late. Okay, so it's weird. It's like I have
I know. I don't either. Yeah.
2 circadian rhythms. One that, you know, anyway, so I set an alarm because I know I'm going to feel better. And so, you know, I used to fight with myself to get up, but now it's like I'll hit snooze, go climb back in bed, and like I'll go to sleep.
Wow, you're like, okay, now I'm up already.
And I've never in my entire life been that way, ever, not once, until I started taking these.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, even the Swish has helped me, and how I know it, I think you had talked about it on the other video, how like the quality of sleep gets better, and how you can tell that is because you dream very vividly. And that's exactly what has been happening to me. And I didn't realize, you know, a lot of times I'm tired in the afternoon. I always blame myself because I always say, well, the opposite works with me. If I have too much coffee in the morning, I'll take a nap at night. It's like I'm exhausting myself during the morning. I'll take a nap in the afternoon. But the crazy thing is I haven't been tired in the afternoon now because I'm getting better sleep. I feel because I'm dreaming a lot more vividly. And I hadn't done that before. And that's just even with the Swish, because the Swish will kind of help that too, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, because I don't take the sleep and serenity maybe once or twice a week. I don't know, it just depends. And then I don't take it, and they'll take it 3 nights. It's very, random. It's because it's as needed.
Right.
But
Right.
this students has been taking the Swish because yeah. So I wanted to say hi to a couple of people. Hi Sandy and hi Kelly. So real quick, Kelly, my mom's on a plane. My mom was with her over this past weekend. They were at a funeral in the town that we grew up in. So Kelly and I grew up near each other. And so she was sending me, which I will not post, mom promise, because my mom was freaking out. But she sent me a video of my mom having fun. And so we were cracking up. So it was me and my son, my nephew and his wife, and we were just like, but my mom had a blast at this funeral. So thank you, Kelly, and your mom and everyone for
Aww.
entertaining her. She needed the break for sure. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, send me a DM. And anyway, so okay, so back to what we were talking about, the Swish. So the cool thing about the Swish is that because people will be like, oh, it helps me sleep. Oh, it gives me energy. Like, how does it do both? It's because it's not designed to be an ingredient that gives you energy or an ingredient that makes you go to sleep. It's designed for your body to get what it needs to run optimally. So if your body is functioning optimally, you're going to get good sleep. If it's functioning optimally, you're going to have energy. And so I had stopped dreaming for some reason. I mean, I dreamt, but you just don't remember it. I didn't, and I used to have really strong, vivid dreams when I was young, up until I had my second son. My first son, not a problem. My second son, literally, I think I got home from the hospital and I just didn't remember my dreams anymore. And it was weird. It was like losing a limb, because it was like all I had known. And so, and then every now and then I might remember something very here and there. But I don't remember them in detail, but I can wake up every morning and tell I had a dream since I've been on the Swish. And I've been on CBD products for 3 years. And I never had that effect. This was the only one that gave me that. And so the 90 vitamins, minerals, nootropics, in addition to CBD and CBG, is just, it's like taking this and giving your cells all the nutrition that they need to function properly. So it's like all your supplements in a bottle, because we have a whole list of them that are in here. And we have, and people have said to me, which, and I appreciate it. I mean, I'm all for having a good conversation about things, and I'm not like, oh, mine's the best and I don't care what you said, right? So I'm like, no, if you disagree, like, let me know, let's have this conversation. So, someone was like, well, CBD doesn't work if you put it with other stuff. Now, I have heard that. I've also heard that that's not the case. I don't know. I've seen studies that have said both ways, right? So, but nothing definitive, at least that I've read. But I was like, but then I said to myself, okay, I hear you, but why are we getting the testimonies and results we're getting? I mean, placebo effect would not be this high. We have like an 80% reorder rate.
That wouldn't be,
buy this, stay on it for at least a month, preferably 3, and take it as you're supposed to. 80% of people who buy it reorder it. Now, there are people in that 20% that don't reorder, that didn't take it the full month, took it here and there, like, or didn't give it long enough. Because sometimes, depending on you may not notice the changes. Some people notice the changes when they get their labs. Some people notice the changes, when they have like a procedure or something. Like, so what, or some people notice the changes when they get off of it, and then their family's like, what is wrong with you? Why are you so grumpy? You were doing so good.
Exactly. Well, evidently it was working.
Sometimes self-awareness is a little hard, to know what's going on with you, physically or mentally or emotionally, or sometimes it's as simple as, man, I got my work done really fast today.
And I didn't get tired, that kind of thing.
I didn't need that nap, or so it's interesting how, but I'm thinking, because the CBD and CBG that's in this bottle activates the receptors that are on the cells. Their job is to activate. So then the other stuff in this bottle can get into the cell. They're like doormen, right? And there's a receptor, which is like, say, the door. And so the CBG molecule, there's 2 different receptors. So one acts with one and one acts with the other. So they like open the door to let stuff in, and then they're like, whoop, 2 months, and they close the door. It's their regulators. So if they weren't doing their job, we would not be seeing the testimonies we're seeing. There's no
exactly
8% of people is full placebo effect of that buy, that reorder, they pay every month. Why would they continue to pay
unless they were noticing something?
Right. Not to mention all the results that we're seeing in our Facebook group. And if you'd like to go to the Facebook group, by all means, we'll be happy to put you in there. And all these testimonies, you know, and so forth. And I even have testimonies I haven't put in there because, you know, that I get from people. But it's just like, I mean, because I've, you know, as a nurse, I see people, what they get for medications. I see what they get from vitamin D. I see, you know, I have 100 patients on this, and I'm like, so how do you feel on it? You know, can you tell me, you know, because that's one of our questions we ask as nurses when I'm doing home health is about, you know, how are you feeling? And is this helping? Is it making a difference? And most of the time they're like, I don't know. My doctor told me to take it. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah. I don't know what's in it.
Yes, you can tell a difference.
Yeah. But why? So tell me why, or tell everybody why you notice a difference in this one compared to others. Cause they're like, well, I've heard I can buy CBD at the local store, you know, Valero or whatever.
All right. So we could be here we should just do one just on that, by the way. We need to do one.
We have another class.
We're going to be here for 4 hours. I'm talking about the differences in CBD. So I try to cover a little bit each time we do this because it is so extensive. But I'm going to tell you why this particular one over even the highest quality CBDs, because there are CBDs out there at the gas station. They're just not high quality CBDs. Just like, you're not going to have a high quality toilet paper. You know? Do you want to use it?
You're gonna
no.
Rub yourself raw. Just
because it's gonna hurt, or you're gonna have to use 5 times as much. And the Charlotte is just so much more comfortable, and you don't have to use as much. Just like, you know, other things. So, so I'm gonna say, because there is high quality CBDs out there. Most of them are a little pricey, but you know, people will tell me these are the results I'm getting. Because most of the people that I've talked to that take CBDs, that have taken mid-range, low-range CBDs, have said that they don't notice anything, you know, or some maybe might have said, I noticed something, but I couldn't tell you what it was. So, so when we're talking about CBDs that give specific results, that people said, I was able to sleep better. People were able to say my pain was less. People were saying, you know, my kid had less seizures or whatever it was. Okay. Where they can give a specific. So, and I've seen good quality, like people had a list of results. I did on a previous one. Okay. A list of results. But the difference with this one and why it goes to that level and above, I believe, is because number one, we have CBD and CBG together. Most of the time, you're going to find CBD and CBG separately, and they encourage you to take them separately because there was some evidence that the CBG and CBD would like compete for the receptor and would like not get activated. Okay. So there was that. So our scientists, and I've never met them, I don't know who they are. I just know that they have 9 PhDs between them. Okay. So our doctors kind of knew that the biggest issue with CBD was getting those receptors activated. And they knew that CBG worked great with CB1 receptors and CBD worked great with the CB2 receptors. Also, since we have no THC at all, no trace amounts, you want something that's going to do the same medicinal benefits as THC. So that's where CBG comes in as well. And so what they decided to do was we have a technology. It has to do with nano. You're going to hear nano, but the difference is how much it's nano size. So where some companies will take the particle and take it down to this level, you know, ours is like this level. I mean, it's microscopic on all of them. But it's even way smaller than anything else. And we believe, based on the evidence that we have, testimonies, blood tests, so forth, that size is what's preventing those molecules from competing. They're like, oh, we have plenty of space. right? They
Okay.
just go to
Yeah.
the doors and open them. Now, when they open them, the other difference too with us, so our CBD and CBG is able to get to the cells, which is the primary thing, right? And activate those receptors. The other thing is we have 90 vitamins, minerals, nootropics, adaptogens, a lot of the stuff, turmeric, ashwagandha, curcumin, all those things that you were taking in these pills, it has to go through the digestive system and the liver, and it has to get broken down and then into the bloodstream and then hopefully into the cells.
Right.
Is automatically already getting absorbed because we've used that same technology and we broke it all down. So we've like pre-digested it in a way.
Right.
And it goes into those membranes straight into the cells. And so you don't have an absorption issue. And
so when you're taking other CBDs and you're taking them and they may be oil-based kind of thing, is there a different process?
Gummy, or anything that's ingested. So
right.
if it's a gummy, if it's a tea, if it's a Coca-Cola with CBD, I heard they were kind of CBD. If there's any coffee, CBD coffee, really? The acid, I mean, the acid of the stomach kills the CBD, but I mean, you have the acid of the coffee. I don't even know how that would work.
I don't either. Yeah.
So you're going to lose about, because everyone will ask, how many milligrams? If you ask me how many milligrams, I will tell you it's not applicable. And the reason being is because let's say there's 100 milligrams in this. And let's say there's 100 milligrams in, we're going to pretend this is a bottle of CBD.
Okay.
This has 100 milligrams. This has 100 milligrams.
Right.
What's the rate of absorption? Because if it goes to the digestive tract, let's say if it's a gummy, or let's say if it's something that you know, a powder that you mix in a drink and it has to go into your stomach and be broken down.
Yeah.
Your stomach acid breaks the CBD molecules apart, which therefore they can't open a door because they're no longer effective. So you probably get about, you know, on a good high quality one, max 20%.
Wow.
That's high. That's a high amount. It's 20%. Most of them on your average, about 15, and a lower quality is going to be about 10%, right? So I want to say hi to Linda and hi, Charlie. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, drop in the comments or feel free to DM us. Okay, so when you have, so then let's go with tinctures. Okay, so a lot of times you have a bottle, right? So you're going to have your oil, your hemp CBD oil, hemp oil, right? Okay, so if it's medicinal purposes or clinical grade, as they call it, meaning not food, because there's hemp seed oil you can cook with. Okay, so that has a lower percentage of CBD in it. And so to get the medical benefits, you need, clinical grade. So you'll find these little bottles with little droppers, tinctures. Okay, so those, but the problem is the hemp oil. So this was the biggest thing. How do you get, because oil, is oil in your blood or water?
Water, and oil doesn't mix with water anyway.
Yeah, so put oil with water. What happens?
Right, it does. Yeah.
Right. So it goes into the bloodstream. So let's say it's one that you drop in here and it gets absorbed into mucous membrane, same as mine does. So what's the difference? It gets into the bloodstream, but it has to go to the liver. So then the liver can pull the oil and separate it out because the liver breaks down the oil. And then it shoots it back into the bloodstream. And then you've got your CBDs and, going into the blood, and then it will go into the cells, depending on the size of the molecule. But the liver, a lot of times the liver will hold on to things. It just does, right? And so you're not, again, you're losing a percentage. And because of oil, a lot of people have had recently what's called fatty liver. And fatty liver is where basically what they think is that it's holding on to fats and then causing the liver to get sluggish.
Right.
Okay? So an oil is a fat.
Oh.
So if you have any kind of fatty liver or where your liver likes to hold on to fats, you're not going to probably even get the CBD. It's not even going to break the oil down.
Right. And which is why I wasn't feeling anything when I was taking it.
Which
probably.
Is most people. So exactly. So 100 milligrams and you're getting 10%, maybe 20%, maybe 15%, where we have a video of blood cells getting it in. And so ours, is at about 99%. We never would say 100, and it's a little different, but that's, so the cool thing is we don't have to worry about liver issues. We don't have to worry about stomach issues. Like people who've had bypass or something like stomach bypass or something, or malabsorption issues. So you don't have to worry about that for any of the vitamins and minerals we have in here. Now, if it's not in here, obviously you might need that supplement, but that's the thing. We're really solving the absorption issue. Because everyone is like absorb. Oh, so the other question people say is, why can't I just smoke it? Right? Because you can get CBD that looks like weed and the buds, and and you can roll it up and you can smoke it, put it in a pipe. I mean, absolutely. But the problem is, again, where THC doesn't break down with high temperature heat until it gets really high, CBD does. So CBD, actually, the molecule gets broken down more so again, and you're going to be about 25, maybe 30% absorption because the heat has destroyed some of it. So,
and the reason why you want more of the CBD, obviously, is you want more of the medicinal benefits of it.
Well, I would assume that's why you're taking it. Now,
yeah,
people do take CBD because of the chill factor. So it's like smoking weed or whatever, eating weed or ingesting marijuana and getting that feeling with it being legal. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
If that's your jam, 100%, there are CBDs with higher THC content. There's delta 8. There's all kinds of things that you can do to get around, the illegal thing. Now, I cannot tell you what would happen on a drug test. That's not my area. I don't sell those products. I do know ours. There's no issue because we have no THC. So if you're looking for like just check out of the world, I mean, you could take this maybe every hour. That might help. But
just to get chilled out. Because I know that I've taken some things in the past or whatever. And most recently, a couple months ago, I was actually talking about Delta 8 and stuff like that until they came up with Delta 9. And then it's just like a fierce competition. But I will tell you that I got a lot of pushback and stuff too, because people are scared, because no matter what you take, and this is not a conversation for that necessarily, but whatever you take, if your job is requiring you to be testing negative or whatever, I don't care how little you take, they don't know what it is. They just know the amount that you have in your bloodstream, and you're going to be tested positive.
They don't care. Yeah.
And so that scared a lot of people. A lot of people. So I was like, well, that's not really going to work. I wanted to help people at the same time, but then I was hitting this objective. And those are one of the things that I call forks in the roads, because still all of a sudden you showed up and I found this, and I was like, okay, I wanted all the benefits of everything that the other thing was bringing, but with no THC. So that was like perfect.
Yeah. Exactly. And not to say, I mean, I'll be completely honest, as being clinical here, but pathophysiologically wise, there's no reason you can't take Swish and get the medicinal benefits. And then if you want to smoke weed, do a gummy weed, whatever, marijuana, THC, do a dab, whatever, not my business. You can still get high and get that benefit and get this with the medicinal benefit. Right. It's like super portable. And, I mean, again, the marijuana plant has very little CBD. And anyway, just the same thing as hemp has low THC. So, it's that trade-off, but there's no reason, like, people are like, oh, well, I smoke weed. Can I do like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but the other thing is that I ran into too, is that I would take, because of my back issues and stuff like that, I would take Delta 8 also or whatever. And they said, well, it doesn't really make you high. It's very little. Well, it just depends on how much you take in your body weight, because that is not true. Because I went to a point where I was like, my back is hurting so bad. And I was seeing a chiropractor about 18 times the past 2 or 3 months. Is I was taking so much, I did feel the high, and I didn't like it because I didn't feel comfortable driving, and I didn't feel, I was like, okay, I need to take this much to enjoy the medicinal benefits for my back's concerned, but I don't want to get that much. That's much more high. I mean, it was the middle of the day. My back was hurting.
Like, I want relief, but I want to function.
Exactly. I want to function and I want to focus and stuff. And you can't necessarily do that. So.
Well, the other thing to mention too is, and I think that there's a little bit of a lack of education of the public on this, is that, so, the whole thing about marijuana having medicinal benefits, and it does, don't get me wrong, but it mainly works in THC specifically, mainly works on the central nervous system. And so it can be a substitute for pain medication. It can be a substitute for seizure, medication. It could be, depending, always check with your doctor, get, find out, and again, if it's legal where you are. But the thing about it is the same thing as if you take pain medication. Does pain medication treat the problem?
No.
It just dulls the pain, so you're not feeling so bad, but whatever's causing the pain is still causing the pain.
Right. Right.
So one of the things of this, and I'm not making medical claims, I'm not saying it's going to cure or, you know, prevent illness or disease or whatever, just to be very clear. But there are people who have been taking specifically this product, but other high quality CBDs, because again, generally speaking, high quality CBDs, but also this product, who have had, say, arthritis, right? And the doctor did an X-ray. And then they took the product, this or another CBD, they took the product, and then they had X-rays done 6 months later, they left their follow-up, and it showed a decrease in the arthritic effect in the joint on the X-ray.
Oh, wow.
And the only thing that they did different was that particular product.
Right.
And there's multiple ones and many of them. And then we have people who are reporting their cholesterol levels have improved. Now, again, could have been diet, could have been something else. I don't know. All I know is they said the only thing that they did different was the CBD product. You know, so we're seeing, of course, we have testimonies like before and after pictures with hair, with skin, you know, so, and again, all of you can go by is what they've said, but there's so many of them, but that's the thing, and studies have shown that now, legitimately, studies have shown that there can be regenerative properties with CBD. And I can't say that it's not because CBD, like let's say you're taking some other supplement, or let's say you're taking a medication even, and you're adding the CBD in, because we know the CBD, you know, has the receptors and activates the endocannabinoid system, which is a regulator. And remember, it opens the door and lets things in and says, oh, no, that's too much. And then it holds it. So it's giving you the ability to optimize, you know, to optimize function. And so with that being said, why wouldn't it be able to optimize the function of, say, a medication? Why wouldn't it be able to optimize the function of, say, whatever you're eating? Why wouldn't it be able to optimize the function of anything else you're doing to improve your body?
Yeah.
Other supplements that you're taking, which is why, again, since we have supplements in here, you know, again, 90 vitamins, minerals, nootropics, adaptogens, what they're, you know, where you might take turmeric and put it on your food, or where you might put, you know, ashwagandha or take a capsule, but why you might get better effects with that particular ingredient, because we know it's getting into the cell, where when you're taking it in, like we said earlier, who knows how much you're absorbing, if it's even getting in the bloodstream or the cells.
Right. And that's what a lot of people don't realize too, is sometimes when they buy, like, really, vitamins aren't really that affordable, which leads me to three things with this. But vitamins are not really, the good ones are not really affordable. They think, well, I can just buy some crappy vitamin or whatever for $3 or whatever, that's a vitamin D at Walmart, or I can buy this one at Sprouts that's like $30 or whatever. But the thing is, the absorbency is what's in it. I mean, how much you're going to urinate out, first of all. So, you know, with this product, you're going to get 99% absorption. And then, not to mention, you're going to save in affordability, because like you said, it has so many different minerals and stuff in it already. And not only that, if you're going to get a pretty decent CBD, regardless, if you want a decent one, you're going to pay a lot of money. And this is very affordable.
Yeah, the one I said before was 3 times this price and retail. And then also I've seen, I talked to a girl the other day, she's paid $250 a month for CBD.
Oh my gosh.
Now she could give a list about 5 things it did for her. That was, and the thing was, she tried all the others and it didn't. So she at least gets those 5 results with the $250 a month. But she said, well, why should I pay $250 a month if I don't have to? I'm like, I'm with you, right? Like,
yeah,
no,
for sure.
We're not even we're more the gas station range when it comes to that.
Right. When it comes to the prices.
We're closer to the gas station prices, much closer than we are anywhere near that vicinity. And that was my other reason for this, was because even the product I found before that had done great, had lists of, you know, results, all these testimonies, was still, to me, $150 retail. Was not that affordable for people to have every single month. Right.
That's hard to, that's hard to swallow.
And I'm just like, sure. I can't, you know, I mean, and I tried, don't get me wrong. I mean, I I sold a good amount of it, and I had great first time orders, but repeat orders was just, that's where. And so like I said, we have an 80%, well, maybe 70 to 80, depending. My month varies. Sometimes it's 70, sometimes it's 80%. I had a low month of like 55% on reorders, but it's been, I way more than the other one. Like, and, and I get texts, I get messages. Oh my gosh, it's doing this. Oh my gosh, it's doing that. And I absolutely love that. And that's what I hear.
So what I will tell you is I was like, okay. And those of y'all who have been on my podcast, like my morning meeting with mom, I have a Facebook podcast every day, and I've been kind of lagging lately. I've been doing more of just the tips on my Facebook page and the actual podcast listening.
And audio today.
But I will tell you, for those of you, look what I'm drinking. Like this, I've only recently tempted to drink it. Like I said, this is only about 3 days old as far as that. I could not touch a red glass of wine. I haven't been able to touch one in probably almost 3.5 years. And I'm not kidding. During the 3.5 years, I had a glass of red wine, and I had one sip, and my stomach was killing me because of the tannins and the acidity in here. I know what it's doing, but I don't know what it's doing. But I know that that's one thing I hadn't been able to do. My stomach, I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that this is really helping my stomach. I haven't really tried to take any gluten, but I am so tempted in the near future, after I've been on, I know you said at least a month, 1 month, 2 months, whatever the case may be, and see if it's kind of helping my 3 months, if my stomach's going to help me. And this may not be a big deal for you guys, but this isn't just about red wine. This is about me being able to eat things that I have to I really want it. No, I can't eat it. Like I've been gluten-free, dairy-free. Not to mention our bill, our grocery bill has gone up astronomically because I have to do gluten, dairy-free. A bread that is gluten-free is upwards of $6, a loaf of bread for me, which normally you'd pay maybe $2 for or something. So it's not just about red wine. It's about me being able to improve my health so greatly to where I can be a testimonial to other people who have just different health issues. And granted, this is not for everybody. This is just what I'm experiencing. But I guarantee you, white wine was the only thing that I could drink for the past 2.5, 3 years. And this is the first time I've been able to just stomach red wine. And it's not bothering me at all. That's crazy. But that leads me to hope for the future that I can maybe eat other things, because I'd love to just go and grab a Little Caesars pizza and chow into it like I used to do, because it was only $5, and I absolutely can't. I'd be dying in the middle of the night in the hospital. Well, maybe that'll be my test. I don't know.
Yeah, and I say that because, and just a minute, I don't know if you're watching anymore, but I want to say hi to Charlie and Alejandro and PJ and Chad and Donnie. So if you are still watching or you watch again, hi, thanks for watching. And you can always drop a question or in the comment section, or feel free to DM us any questions. So when it comes to that, so what kind of, again, there's different theories out there, or kind of what they're going with, but what they're finding a lot of times is that if you have some sort of intolerance or autoimmune or something where you were fine, and then all of a sudden you're not fine with whatever this is, what, I could eat bread. Why can't I eat bread now? Now, some people are born they have, that's just the issue. But sometimes, so if all of it, it's your body can handle things that it may not prefer. If it's functioning well, it has a little bit of extra energy to spare to kind of process the things that it's not really happy with, right? And it's all right, well, we'll get rid of this. It's fine. But if it's stressing because it's happening to maintain all these things and all this stuff is going on and there's a ton of inflammation, it's like at war. Right?
Yes,
that's what your inflammatory system is, like an army, and it's attack. So whether it's attacking the bread or attacking the dairy, or if it's attacking the your skin, or if it's
something,
or what's it? It's we got to attack. Yeah. But now the question is there's this theory that when you were a kid and then as your body got older, it couldn't handle it anymore. But what I kind of wonder, and I'm throwing a question out there, I'm not giving this as a evidence-based,
right?
But what I wonder is if it's just that, everything going on, environmental, mental, you know, I'm a very big believer in mental causing a lot of physical. And then, you know, and then, so it's just the level of stress, you become intolerant, period.
Right.
You can be intolerant
Yeah.
because, like, you know, when my kid gets yelling at the game, there was a time where I couldn't handle it at all.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know, it doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Because I'm like, I'm good, but I feel good. I have energy and da da da. You know, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you start to get tired, and then you start to get irritable, and then this happens, and then that happens, and then all of a sudden you can't eat pizza, and then you can't eat strawberries, and then now you can't have ice cream, and you're like, what the heck?
I know.
Like, where is my joy in life going?
I know.
And
I
it's
can't
like,
have anything
cycle.
now. Well, not only that, what really shocked me was that because when I was put on my gastroenterologist, so you know, for some reason they put me on this like anti-anxiety, anti-depression medication because they said that you have a bunch of serotonin in your gut, and I was producing too much or not enough. I don't know. Anyway,
brain in your gut, so that would make sense.
Okay, so I wasn't able to produce enough of the enzymes or create enough enzymes to break down this gluten and dairy. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up having to take this medication, which you mentioned, citalopram or whatever, the other one you had said. So I ended up having to take that, which I guess in turn calmed my stomach down. So it was able to kind of wait and digest and whatever it did. But anyway, I was taking such a tiny amount. I was like, but I felt guilty even taking that because I'm like, look, I'm like less than 50 years old. I'm starting on medications now. The way the future goes, I'm on one medication now, I'll be on 5 by the time I'm 80. I'm like, no, because there, a lot of it, right, you don't have control over. One medication is going to cause damage to something else. And it's like a trickle effect. And eventually you have to keep on taking one medication, then another. So anyway, they were determined because they were laughing. My doctor laughed and said, you're not even taking enough for anything. And I said, I'm taking enough for me. So I started looking for alternative routes. And so I was like, let me try to find something else. So that's when I was kind of like, okay, let me look at this CBD stuff and see if it works. But I absolutely loved the test that Brad Hager did with the water and the oil when he did the glass on that video, where he was like, okay, what's going to better absorb, water or oil, kind of thing? And he was like, I was like, okay, that makes total sense, because my body does the same thing that glass is doing. Mm-hmm. Like, I would be honestly afraid if I were to pour the oil and water down my throat versus just water to CBD or whatever the Swish is. And I'm like, okay, I know which would absorb better, because for one, it would go directly into my memories. I probably wouldn't taste much anyway, versus oil, you have that oily taste and it doesn't absorb as quickly. So anyway, that's, yeah, I totally understand. There's just certain things that you notice that will make a big difference for me. And that's just one of them. You know, that's why I'm excited. I can turn to things like this that is more natural and more holistic, versus just popping a pill, which is what everybody seems to want to do nowadays. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Shakina, I don't know if she's a friend of yours.
Yeah, Shekinah, that's my cousin.
Okay, so Shekinah commented and she said hi, and then she said, what kind of CBD is good for chronic pain, and have tried Delta 8, and wow, it's helpful, but it had CBD with it. So you can speak better to the Delta 8 versus this, because you've taken them both. I have not. So I'm going to let you answer that.
So the Delta 8, what it does is it will give you the medicinal benefits depending on what you take. Now I said, so kind of, I don't know if you just hopped on now, but so I was mentioning earlier that one of the two differences between Delta 8 and what this is the Delta 8 is going to get you to a certain amount of high. It will get, I don't care what anybody says, especially I know Shekinah is real sensitive too, but if you're sensitive, no matter how much, the problem is the amount of Delta 8 that I have to take in relation to amount of pain that I want to get rid of is way too high. I'll end up stoned off of my gourd. So it didn't, and I'm not the type either that I want to go, they don't make like 99% water-based Delta 8 gummies or whatever, or just Delta 8 liquid. They don't make that. So you don't have a choice. You have to pretty much take what they give you. Plus number 2 is going to be the THC. So you are going to get, so whatever job, and I know that she's had a job like in the medical field as far as veterinary medicine is concerned in the past. So if you ever wanted to do anything like that, you have to be very, very leery because you will test positive on the THC scale or drug test or whatever they do. You are going to test positive. And that's one of the reasons I was like, you know what, not only, I mean, I work for my husband, but my goal and my outreach is to help other people, not necessarily just myself. And in doing that, I have to take their circumstances into account as well. And part of it was they were saying, I had several people say, I'm in the military, or I'm in the hospital field, or I'm in the whatever field, and they absolutely couldn't even risk it. They can't risk a THC positive drug test. So those are the two things. If Delta 8 works for you, then this would be phenomenal, because Delta 8 does not have 99% absorption rate, I guarantee you. And she had tried other things, she had told me, and she knows I'm going to say this, but she had tried other things and they didn't work. They either worked or they worked too much, like I did when I took one CBD and I was like drugged off my gourd, and I was actually driving and I'm like, they were like, oh no, I think they even told me put 12 drops under my tongue, and I put 5 because I said I'm uber sensitive. By the time I left there, I was like, this is not okay. Like, I don't even want to experiment with it. That's when the CBD was just kind of coming out, but I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I have to rid my pain and rid my anxiety and my nervousness and stuff without having to be high in the process and function during the course of the day. That's what JJ was saying. So basically, that's what it's definitely worth a try. So
Yeah,
reach out to me or JJ or whoever. If you want to try some samples, that would be a good option too.
Yeah, so definitely reach out to Poppy for those. But I will say, Shekinah, too, the other thing we talked about, and I don't know if you caught that either, is that, while the Delta 8 works great on like a pain numbing thing where you don't feel the pain as much, but the CBD is actually going to help repair, improve the issues that are causing the pain. And that's what you want, because that's going to give you long-term relief, instead of having to be like, oh, I'm in pain, let me take this. Oh, I'm in pain, let me take this. Where you could be like, wait, I'm not even in pain. So that's another reason to definitely try this, because you're going to actually get, and we do have the spray that you can get for free with the Swish, by the way. So this is working on all, like, you take every day, and it's doing its thing to help improve as much as it can in your body and anything that it can rejuvenate. And it's going to do that to help again with the cause. But then you can take this as needed, where you can spray it under your tongue and get it in your bloodstream, or you can also spray it locally where you have pain. And that's like Poppy was saying in the beginning, it helped her. It's helped me tremendously too. And to help you in the meantime, right? So you might take this 4 or 5 times a day, and then in a couple of months you might be like, I haven't used that in a week. So and as far as affordability goes, like we mentioned, they're super affordable. We can get you prices. So again, like I said, you can get sprays for free depending. You've got, this is 39 servings, so you'll start low. So the first month will last you a lot. I mean, the first bottle will last you a lot longer than a month. Just depends on how much you're taking after that. But again, we were saying, like, it's under $100. You can get it even lower. You can get it for half that, where you pay every month. And again, half that with this and a spray.
And the spray.
Like, that's craziness. For good.
And my thing is too, the good thing is when you take the Swish, you're like, well, I don't need help with sleep, I don't need help with anxiety or whatever. The good thing is you get it free regardless. So you get a bottle of Swish, and then you get this free spray. You're going to have a friend who needs help with sleep, or needs help with anxiety, or needs help. The other thing we have is trim. So how many people need help with weight loss? I mean, it just, And so that, the good thing you can talk about, I don't know if we have time, maybe next time talk about the trim.
Yeah, I kind of like to choose like a spray kind of to talk about, and then kind of our topics, and it just depends. I go really wing it. So again, I would love for y'all, anybody who watches this later, we're doing this Tuesday, not every Tuesday. And if it's by myself, I've decided at this point, I didn't do it before because like I said, people didn't want to, and I didn't want to do it myself, but I'll do it by myself. I'm good now.
No, I'll be with you on the call every time.
Yeah. So it's Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, and was at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, if you do have questions, and again, if you don't, You can ask anything. We really do not care. But if you're not comfortable with asking it on the live or when you watch it afterwards, if you don't want to put it in the comments, feel free. You can DM either one of us.
Yep.
We'll be happy to answer. Like if she doesn't know, she'll ask me. I pretty much know most of the answers by now. And it's a passion for me as a nurse. I was talking with someone today and he was wanting to get out of bedside right now in the hospitals isn't the greatest place to be. And, those of us who did 20 plus years, were just like, you're just massive burnout. But that need to help people with their health and for them to feel good and to, as much as, you can, for them to have a great quality of life like that. I still have that passion, desire. And so this is a great way for me to be able to still help you with your health and as a nurse, and it fuels me. Like people are like, oh, I don't want to ask you, I don't want to bother you. I'm like, this is why I do this, is so I don't have to go work in the hospital to get that satisfaction,
right,
and get beat up every day.
Yes.
by the healthcare system. So please, this is it. It's a passion of mine. I'm here no matter what, whatever I can. If I can't answer it, I'll tell you I can't answer it, but there's very little I don't feel comfortable answering at this point.
If not, we'll find out. I know. I find out through you. And if you don't know, you'll find out. I mean,
I'm very resourceful. So I do try to stay on top of everything. I did not watch the Super Bowl because I just don't. I'd rather work than watch the Super Bowl. What does that say for me? I don't know.
That's our age. Right? Yeah. I just packed packages, like sample packages and stuff. That's all I did.
I just had fun. So we do have these sample packs just to let you know, and we do offer trials with them. So you can get this, which is 6 days of the bottle of Swish, which is the blue bottle that you see here. Plus you can get a trial, which includes that. It's because it gives you 6 days, but then you'll get a full spray of your choice that you can use for a month, 2 months, 3 months. It's as needed. So however long it lasts you. And it's super, super affordable. Not like you would not be terrified, like if you're afraid to commit, right? So we came up with these and we're the only ones doing them. I love it because some people are just like, I just want to make sure I'm not going to hate the taste, or I just want to make sure it's not going to cause like a rash, and that's a great way for you to just see. And some people do report sleeping better or calmer or even more energy, even with just the 6 days. And then of course the spray, you're going to get benefits of the spray. I've never, honestly, I can say I don't know only a single person who has not noticed something with the spray that they took.
Yeah.
Like no one.
Yeah.
Like, so please reach out to me, Poppy, DM us. We'll be happy to answer your questions. We'll give you more info, whatever you need. She can put you in a chat with me. Just so we are here to help you. So anything that we might've said that you're like, ooh, I know someone, or, ooh, I will kind of, that sounds like that might benefit me. Whether you buy or not, we do not care, but we at least want to share it with you and tell you about it and see if it's a good fit for you.
Yeah. And things don't happen by accident. I totally believe. So if it may not benefit you, you definitely know somebody who may benefit. If somebody's like, I can't sleep no matter what I do, no matter what I take, I can't sleep, let us know.
Yeah. And so there's really no risk to it. I'm a nurse. I've only promoted health and wellness. Really, I've only promoted two CBD, and they're both CBDs, because to me, if it's not life-changing, it doesn't inspire me.
Right. Doesn't grab at your heartstrings. Yeah.
Do without it. I don't care. Yeah. So anyway, well, it's been fun, Poppy. Thank you for doing this. I meant to tell you too, I absolutely love that your hair matches your shirt.
Oh, thank you. It's supposed to be purple, but it's like purple.
Well, on the camera, I mean, lighting and camera.
Oh yeah.
It looks blue.
Yeah, it kind of does. It does look a little bit blue. And I've got to go back to my 80s tie-dye too. So
it's great. It looks good on you. It's a good color, by the way. Okay. Well, you have a great night. I will see you later. And everyone else, Facebook, have an awesome night. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.